Hello shiny people, I have something special in store for you guys. So basically I've noticed a common trend, and that is that people are unsure as to when to cut a potential campaign when it's break even, slight loss, or in the situation where it's a slight profit. Okay, so what do you do in these particular situations? So let's say you're testing a campaign and you've got 2 dirty 30s here, and you get 2 to 3 purchases, then maybe 1 to 2, then 2 to 3. So you're getting consistency in the purchases, right? So this tells a story. It may not be profitable, it may not be it may lose a little bit of money, it may make a little bit of money, or it may just, you may be on zero, right? So there's two things which we can utilize, and even potentially you could be scaling. You could be at a $500 budget and you could be like roller coastering up and down, and essentially you maintain like a zero. So what are the two things which we can do to potentially break out of this cycle? So there's two things which we can do, and one is to lower CPM, and the second thing which we can do is to increase conversion rate through conversion rate optimization, CRO commonly known. So these are the two things which we can do to increase our conversions, so then we can bump a potential campaign into profitability. So a lot of times I see people give up on a winning campaign. They get to $5,000 spend, but they can't just make it profitable, right? They don't get the bags of money. And the sad thing is, I see someone else run the same product and they claim the bag of money because the particular seller or student, coaching student, excuse me, didn't invest in these activities. So first of all, let's cover CPM. What are the things that we can do to lower CPM? One, we can do creative testing. Two, we can run other objectives. And three, we can basically improve overall score. So advertising platforms will rank you with advertiser value score. And this comprises of how much money you're prepared to spend, your value on the platform. So whether people leave after watching your content, whether they stay on the platform, whether they engage on your content, all of this is factored in. So essentially what you want to do is you want to improve your overall advertiser score, and that comes into number 2. So running other objectives. So if you use our Dirty 30 strategy, you will know that we use a landing page view campaign alongside the the conversion campaign. So 30/30 is a conversion campaign, right? So you also run a landing page view, and normally we like to budget our 10% of our total conversion campaigns. Let's say you're running two 30/30s. Two 30/30s would be $60. So your 10% would be $6 here. So that's the sort of ratio that you want to run. And the common problem I see with people, getting really good results with the 30/30, and then they say, my performance dropped second or third day. So they've increased the amount of 30/30s. Maybe they have 4, 6, 10 30/30s, but they've left the landing page view campaign intact. So they haven't increased the 10% of their daily spend. So the following day, you should look at your previous day's spend and increase it to the 10%. So it's like a balancing act. Like you've got a seesaw, right? It goes up and down. So if you don't continually increase, you'll see that your CPM will start to creep up again. And essentially the reason why is you have people that negatively interact with your ad. So you want to have people positively impacting your ad. So running landing page views, and not restricted to landing page views. You can run link clicks. Link clicks is also viable, and also engagement. So all of these are viable to run. And my recommendation was either stick to one or the other, one or two, one of these two when you are running a conversion campaign. So you don't want to run both, one or the other. So run link clicks or landing page views. I iterate between the two. I haven't really seen any improvement in conversions between one or the other. I do get conversions sometimes just on these campaigns as well. So you get potential purchases on these other traffic campaigns. So your engagement is under your engagement style campaigns. If we're talking about Facebook here, if you're talking about TikTok, community interaction, I believe, is the hierarchy of where you find these style of campaigns. So let's go back to the basics here. So you're going to run these campaigns, and it's going to improve your score on the platform because it likes people that care about their brand and building a community, etc., etc., etc. So the platforms really like this activity. And if you do get this negative response, what will happen is you'll balance that out. So potentially, running products which have banner blindness, people negatively react them because they've seen them, quite a few times. So this can help balance that out so you don't have that impact. So I'm sure that you're aware that we also can run page likes. This is under the engagement banner. So my recommendation is like this. Let's say you are at 500 spend a day. You want to invest about 80% in your traffic campaigns. And this can be in the form of link clicks. And it can be in the form of landing page views. And then you can divert 20%. And you can even split this into two. You can do post engagement. And then you can do the page likes. So you can split the 10% of that budget. So let's say, 10% of 500 is 50, and 80% of that goes to your traffic campaigns, and 20% of that goes to your post engagement and page likes. Potentially you want to, if you're a newer brand or newer page, probably go heavier on the page likes, so maybe a 15 and a 5 split. And that will help bring the amount of people to your page. And why is the people on your page so important? So you have something called organic reach. So as you post, and I recommend posting 1 to 3 times a day, and this should be content like maybe phrases, memes, engaging video, so 1 to 3 times a day, any of this, what will happen is you get likes, shares, comments on your content that you post on your page. So essentially, the more people you have, the more this grows. So the more people that will see your organic content, and that will also help bring down your CPM. So it will see you as a valuable content creator on the platform, and all of the platforms really want the users to spend the most amount of time on the platform, because essentially, the main thing, like we talked about before, the platform is interested in making the most money. So the more people that stay on their platform for a longer period of time, the more money they will make. So this is why this advertiser value score is so important, because that's how it ranks you against all the other competition. So money is one thing that we can manipulate down the track with bidding and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in more advanced strategies of how we can manipulate the money side of things and stack it with these other fundamentals of engagement and reach with a winning campaign, it can cascade and snowball a campaign. But yeah, that's more in depth, and it will take forever to go through all of that. So if you're interested in the more advanced strategies of how we can manipulate bids to increase conversion rate, we have that available in the ShineOn Treasury. Now let's get back into the organic reach. So what will happen is you'll start to find that sometimes you can potentially get viral content, and this is really good for your campaigns, but if you hit an organic reach campaign that starts to really snowball, like you get thousands of likes a day or views on your video, it'll essentially bring down your CPM. I had one campaign which I was running, and I think it hit like 10 to 20 million likes, not likes, but reach, and I think like the likes were in the tens of thousands or 20 of thousands. It was really, really huge. And essentially what I noticed during that is the CPMs dropped by about 25%. So this can be huge in your acquisition game. So let's say you have $10 CPM, it's now $7.50 CPM. And what that means is you have a lot more people through your funnel, and when you match it against your conversion rate, essentially that will pivot your potentially break-even campaign into profit, because you've got 25% more people going through the funnel multiplied by your conversion rate. You should be pushed over the edge into that profitability. So that is the fundamentals of why we want to engage in these activities. So the post engagement, you can run on the existing post ID for your video or image. And if you have trouble doing that, it's because Facebook is kind of pushing to do dynamic creative, and it's forcing you to use their enhancements. So whenever you upload your image or your video, make sure that you cross out when it gets to enhancement. So that pretty much pops up pretty straight after you do the upload. It'll go, oh, you want to enhance it for all the platforms. You just cross out of that, because then you won't be able to use the existing post to target this post engagement campaign towards it. And yeah, so the more people you have on your page, the more page likes, then you get more organic traffic, so on and so forth. It's a snowballing effect. That's why you should invest, especially if you're going for a longer term period. I think we are at hundreds of thousands in our likes on our page, and my recommendation is for the people that are starting out, or trying to build a brand in the early phases, especially if you're under tens of thousands of likes, I would go for worldwide here. Make sure you go targeting worldwide, because these are the people that will engage and give you this organic reach. They will share, like, comment, so on and so forth. Once you over and beyond, you can go for more targeted countries where you are actually advertising in. So let's say you advertise in top 6, or you advertise US, Canada only, so you can specify those targetings on those like campaigns and engagement campaigns. But in the initial phases, you can just go with worldwide, because it'll bring the CPM down, because you're having so much activity on that. Also, the pixel will have more activity. People are clicking, even though you're not tracking. So you don't track post engagement and page likes. People will still click through on your site, so your site will also get more activity, and the pixel will be more active. Even though it's not tracking, Facebook is looking at that, so it's seeing you as more valuable because people are coming to your site. So it's all like a cascading domino effect. All of these things go towards a positive result. So in terms of for page like campaigns, you probably wanted to see what kind of creative would you run for that. So essentially, you can have like a family image. Yeah, make sure you use non-copyrighted pictures, or you go to Canva and use like clip art, and you can have just like a phrase at the bottom. And normally what I would do is I would go with $5 budget with an ABO. So you have your campaign, and you have your 5 ad sets, and each of them has a different creative. So basically in half a day, all of these have $5. So when you've spent $2.50 on all of them, you can see which one has the lowest cost per page like, and continue with that one over a longer period of time. This also applies to creative testing. So creative testing, when you get to that point, you can do the same thing, but rather than using an engagement campaign, my recommendation would be going for the traffic campaign. So if you're at the $500 a day and you want to do creative testing, essentially you follow the same structure and you pick either LPV, landing page views, or link clicks, and this is under the traffic campaigns. So essentially you're already running your dirty 30, so you should have like a baseline for your LPV. So what is the CTR? I'm not talking about the CTR on the conversion campaigns, I'm talking CTR specifically on the landing page views campaign or the link clicks campaign. And you're also looking cost per link click or cost per landing page view. So you're looking at these costs and you're looking for the lowest figures on all of these, and essentially you can put them into a new dirty 30, or you can use one of our advanced scaling strategies from the treasury, and that will basically allow you to test your conversion campaign against the baseline. So the dirty 30s, or one other potential scaling strategy, you can test the lift. So are you getting better metrics on the new creative once you take it out of the traffic campaign and put it into a conversion campaign? So things which you're looking for is an increase CTR, decrease in CPM, or the increase in conversion rate, or a lower CPA. So just bear in mind that you don't have to have all of these. Sometimes you may have a slightly higher CPM, a slightly lower a CTR, but your conversion rate will be higher because you're hitting higher quality traffic, or the creative itself converts better. So these I look at sort of way down the track. I look at these other metrics, so purchases, lower CPA and lower conversion rate, as to telling the story whether this is a lift or not. Because sometimes I've had campaigns, like I've said, that have higher metrics in the other areas and they have low metrics on this side, or vice versa. I've had really low metrics on the CTR, so I've had like 0.5% CTR and the CPM being so low, but the conversion rate being high, low as well. So like it's a jumbling effect. So try and look at what the story is telling you and compare it against the baseline. So the baseline being your original scaling ads or your dirty 30s, and that'll give you a good understanding as to where to go next. So we covered quite a lot in a short period of time. Hopefully that's digestible. And again, I do cover this in the skill stack as part of the treasury. So if you want more information and you want to really dive into it in depth, I strongly recommend checking that out. So basically improving the overall score comes into the fundamentals that what we just talked about. So all of these things will improve your overall advertiser score. And you probably notice when you have like a brand new ad account, your CPMs will be increasingly high because it's trying to rank you and put you against your other competitors. So if you have run some of these objectives in the past, you probably find that you'll start with a lower advertiser score, a lower CPM off the bat, because you're not going straight into conversion campaigns. Kind of the problem with the platform is a lot of people will have second, third ad accounts after being banned, and they kind of want to minimize bad players. So this is kind of like a penalty to penalize potential bad players, but there is these workarounds which we can use to basically get us over the line. So we've talked about CPM. Let's dive into conversion rate optimization. So in a nutshell, conversion rate optimization is when we make changes to landing page, cart page, checkout, and we want to increase the conversion rate. So when we have the goal of increasing the conversion rate, sometimes you'll find price is one thing we can change. So we can increase or decrease price. So if we increase price, we want to see that there's no change to the conversion rate. And this is something that you should test, like potentially at least 3 days, but ideally 7 days. And basically, if you lower the price, you should see an increase in conversion rate. Sometimes the increase in conversion rate is significant enough that the lower price will drive more conversions, and that could flip into a profitable campaign. If you're increasing the price, you don't want to see a decrease in the conversion rate. So you can increase your profitability by lifting the price. And if you don't notice a decrease in conversion rate, therefore you increase your profitability. Right? So profitability there. So this is one of the key things which you can change. You can also change the amount of pictures. So sometimes I see a lot of sellers having so many pictures of the image, and sometimes this can be a blocker. So let's say when I have my listings, I have 2 images per variant. And I also have two lifestyle. So this can be in hand, and it can be maybe someone wearing it. And 2 per variant, so one can be like a lifestyle render, so someone with it in hand, and one can be a studio. And if you are at this sort of conversion rate optimization, you probably can, like if you're struggling with a product that you can't get over the line into profitability, you really want to experiment and try your own photos as well. So you can cater them to your particular niche. Maybe you have fishing or camping, and you basically have a background of that nature. So one of the Father's Day products which we had was fishing focused, and we basically had boots in the background, like fishing boots in the background of the UGC or video. And this was a win for us. So this is something which you can test on your product page. Sometimes it can actually lower your conversion rate if you introduce these other elements, but you have to try, and you have a hypothesis, and you test your hypothesis, and you see if it's valid or not. That's the whole reason why it's called conversion rate optimization. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You can also do things in the copy. So you can add images, like we're talking about, niche specific. Maybe you can add different models. So I would strongly suggest diversity. So you can cater to the widest part of the audience. So if you have diversity and you show that you're a brand that cares about everyone, that is really strong. It tells a strong story. And you can cater your copy to your particular audience. So rather than using the default ShineOn copy and say, her, him, you can use daughter, son, etc., etc. So you can modify the copy to suit the particular audience, so it's more catered to what they're looking for. And essentially, you can talk about the benefits, how it will make them feel when they give it, how the person will feel when they receive it. Like, you can talk the perspective of the buyer and receiver, so you can do additional connections to the emotions over and beyond what the message card says. So you can play into those emotions in the copy as well. But I'll be honest, like, most people won't really read the copy, but some people will. And those some people, maybe, let's say it's 15%. I'm taking a guess, but I'm going to guess around 15%. If you get 15% that actually read it, and one person buys 15%, and one person buys over a longer period of time, you're struggling with getting a product over the edge, that can be significant enough to push it over the edge. So the other more advanced sort of things which you can look to, and I guess essentially I'm planning to do a full Shopify build as part of Treasury this quarter, so we'll have that released, and I'll go through full page builds and actually doing this process and trying to optimize. And even in coaching, we do a live store where I do conversion rate optimization, and I test hypotheses, and we see if it lifts or it kills the conversion rate. So let's jump more into it. So other things which you can try is like layout of the page. So where the reviews sit, you can test price, size, color. You can test button colors, text on buttons. So yeah, this is very, very in depth. Like, there's so many things that can be tested that can potentially give you that subtle lift. So we do have a ShineOn product page which allows you to make these subtle changes, like the price of the color of the price, the size of the price, so on and so forth. So it is some level of customization available if you are using the ShineOn product page. So you can have a look and test some of these things to see if you can get that potential lift which you're looking for. So I guess the next question is, how do you do this? So there's more basic ways and there's more advanced ways. So I'll just give you a couple. So we've got neat A/B testing, and this is a Shopify app. So basically you can test one product page against another product page, or you can make a change to a product page and see what works, and you can run those hypotheses over 7 days. There is gem pages, or another page builder. I think the makers of one-click upsell, Zipify, they also have a page builder, right? So that also has A/B testing. So the page builders have the A/B testing functionality. So basically you can start with one variant, make a change. So move a button up or down in the page, or add, social proof below the page, potentially have some Facebook comments. There's so much, variations, which can be tested. So where do you get inspiration from? So you can look at top brands. So you can use top brands as your inspiration. Have a look at how they're structuring their page. What information do they have when you open it on mobile? Like, is the button below or above the fold? Do they have any reviews above the fold, or are the reviews all the way down? Do they have any special text like in stock or nearly sold out? Is there any call to action? So really analyze and get inspiration and create hypotheses. So I saw this on, let's say, the Udi brand, right? And they're having images within their product description, and they're also having call to actions broken in between. So maybe they have, our stock always sells out, or some sort of call to action, so people are driven to take action. And are they using a scrolling add to cart or not? Is the add to cart fixed? So you can test all of those hypotheses. More advanced, I'd probably say, you got your Google Optimize. Where you have that links to analytics, and also Tag Manager. So it's a bit more complex in terms of setup and analysis and the way that you split the traffic. So we'll probably cover that in Treasury at some point. And also, there's paid options like VWO, which, is really good, but it's pricier. So this actually has kind of like an in-page element. So you can customize like a page builder, but on your existing page. So it's kind of more advanced in that way, but it is pricier. So starting out, I probably look to one or two options, because you can do this yourself. Essentially, in the mid range, when you're still doing it yourself, but you're a bit more advanced in your tech skills, probably look into the Google Optimize. And then when you're looking at really amping things up and potentially outsourcing the CRO to someone else, probably something like the VWO would be your go-to here. So hopefully this was helpful. If you found it helpful, I'd appreciate some positive feedback on the post. And yeah, if there's any other topics that are dire that you really want us to cover in the shot of espressos, I'd really appreciate if you can highlight that in the comments. So we want to tailor content to your specific needs, and I'm happy to even go into really basic topics and setup of campaigns and structure. Whatever you guys need and want, we're here to help you out. So until next time, that's it from me today.